Okay, now we have our band in place. We're going to slide it through our bander. So with everything staying even and flush, straight up and down, you're going to slide it in here. Make sure the aluminum bracket slides in that hole. Crank it to where the head of your screw fits on over the top. Now we're ready to crank down and ratchet our tourniquet. So we're going to make sure this is as far down as we can get it, far up, and we're going to start cranking. One thing to really be mindful of is that when you go to cranking it, those two run parallel and you don't have it twisted. So this line runs right along here and this line runs right along here. Sometimes the buck's in a different binder, you might do it like this or like this. Try to always keep this all parallel and straight. So, and that tail, you saw me pull it out, always pull that tail out because it'll get you in trouble. So we're gonna crank, crank, crank. And this is what we're watching for right here, these red lines. The red line there is good enough. I always just go like a touch more. So now we're gonna crimp. You got your handle, two handles, and we're just gonna separate them. And you're gonna see that crimp. The tool's gonna crimp that aluminum crimp there. Just like that. You see there? So you got a good even crimp on this side, and you got a good even crimp on that side. You gotta watch for that. Make sure those bands lay in those crimps. Sometimes one will be in the middle or something if you don't have it straight. And when you cut it, like I'm gonna do in a minute, it'll pop loose. So we got a good crimp. When we get our tag cutter, we're gonna come right across the top. Just one good, smooth, boom. He's banded. Bring it around here, Ralph. That's what you like to see. No blood. We had him tourniqueted quite a while. Okay, so one thing when you're cutting and you've got a cauterizing iron, which L&H branding irons you can get it. Make sure you got it ready. That buck didn't hardly bleed on that time, but you never know on the next one. Hopefully, we've had him tourniqueted for about 10 minutes, which is longer than you need, but we want to make sure he wouldn't bleed. Go ahead, pull. It's all right. Not bleeding bad. That's what you want to see. That's why that bander's worth it. Worth it for sure. We'll just burn everything. I like to burn them best I can, anywhere I can, and usually I've never had an infection yet. I messed up here and caught this other side, which I was worried about a little bit. Just barely nicked it, but that was all it took. I'll burn it too. Okay, I'm gonna demonstrate how to cut the band off. We cut this one already. Always make sure you've got your decauterizing iron and anything else ready to stop blood, because sometimes you'll have bleeders that'll cut loose on you. So I like to use pliers to hold this end, because when you cut this sucker, it pops pretty good. So get the camera around here. I like to cut it right in half. That way it's equal which way the band's bust. So you're just gonna barely do it. There's enough tension on there, just touching it. Eventually get it. If you ain't hanging on to it, I've shot them clear across the room before. Kind of a dangerous little deal. Like that. A little bit of bleeding, nothing serious. We'll just take our cauterizing iron, burn them down, get this boy ready to get back up on his feet.